fat girls. I kind of understand what he's saying there. Basically, he is saying in a roundabout way, seen as that company guy, he's that poster boy for all the WWE fans. The guy that really kind of, I don't know, he sums up the company attitude.
Totally, he's the Hogan of the wrestling generation nowadays. The All-American go-getter, the chisel look, and he's perfect for what WWE wants. What I would be really interested to see in the next year would be a Cena heel turn. Will it happen? They said the same with Hogan, not a chance, but I think it would be so refreshing for the character that John Cena is, and for what he can bring to the table. But yeah, he is the go-getter, definitely the go-getter for WWE right now.
Yes, indeed. Just to remind you, you're listening to the Wrestledope Wrestling Radio podcast, and you can get us on Wrestledope.com. You can go there and download the latest show, as well as find out a bit more about us, and of course, you can get into the forum and chat all about wrestling. And not to forget, we're on about 1 million other different sites. We've got the Twitter, that's twitter.com/WrestleDope. You've got youtube.com/user/TheWrestleDope. You can search for us on Facebook. We're just about everywhere now, aren't we? And now Justin.tv live.
Yeah, I'm liking this live business. I think if we had a big scale and a full throttle studio, we could deliver the goods. But we'll deliver the goods no matter what.
Exactly, and it's nice to know that at least one person has been viewing us today, and we will indeed be doing a lot more with the Justin.tv channel. If you're listening to us on the podcast, we will start flagging you and letting you know when we are live on Justin.tv. We're 2 weeks into this, we're just beginning, and we know it can take a long time to build an audience for a show such as this, but we're happy with it so far. By the way, subscribe on iTunes as well. Now, we're going to move straight on with more coverage of the Feds, if you like, and we're going to speak a bit about ROH, perhaps. That's a Fed, as we said before, doesn't quite get the coverage that the WWE or indeed now TNA gets, but we are big fans of ROH. It isn't easy to watch the program here in Ireland, but we do our best, and I have to say, our friend that we're broadcasting on now, Justin.tv, he helps us a lot to get that ROH fixed. But starting off with this week's ROH, and I must start off by saying that this is the first ROH episode I've watched since they've come to HDNet, and indeed since about 2006. Massive improvements.
Yeah, I think ROH are doing a really good job. Sometimes the shows can be a little bit, no, I wouldn't say a snore fest, but I thought this week's show, something about wrestling and a total package. I think you need the promos, you need some of the backstage interaction, even if it's 5 minutes out of 60 minutes. It's always something that's been there for as long as I can remember watching from when I was a kid, and I think it's certainly something that brings in a lot of people to it. But I know where they come from with the more in-ring product, the better, and that's their whole deal. But the difference between last week's show and this week's show, even a 5-minute Cornette promo will tie me over, but I think more, not even too much, it's a little bit more on the promo side of things than we be.
I agree wholeheartedly. The show is quite short. If you get a download, you're looking at about 45-50 minutes. It's an hour-long format on television. But the show really impressed me. Certainly I haven't seen it in so long that it's been a while now, and they've certainly done everything they can to make it better. My reaction was that I felt it was a high-quality TV production. I thought the commentators were great. They had a real broadcasting feel to them. And in general, the crowd was seriously hot. I thought there were incredibly fluid move combinations, some daring stuff, and even you get that satisfying mat thud as a guy hits the ground.
Yeah, definitely some of the talent Ring of Honor real hard hitters. Roderick Strong comes to mind as Jesus, he hits hard, and makes it look so vicious. Every move from clotheslines to any sort of suplex, he really hits hard, and it looks cool. It's cool to watch, especially compared to WWE product, where it's so tame and so safe sometimes that you even kind of wonder why you bother watching it. But yeah, I like the hard hitting style of ROH, as it's cool.
One of the things that concerns me watching the product closely, as I did this week, is that there seems to be a much higher risk of injury for the guys in Ring of Honor. They do some stuff that at times is questionable.
It's fast paced without it.
Yeah,
definitely. Ones I really like to watch, the Young Bucks. I mean, some of that stuff is incredible to watch, and you can see them on TNA now as Generation Us or
Generation Me.
Yeah, I always get that one.
Terrible name.
Absolutely dreadful name.
What were they thinking?
God knows, but they kept the Buck, Jeremy Buck, and yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, the Young Bucks definitely really cool to watch.
So this week's ROH on HDNet, and I think that's about the only TV channel it's on. I certainly haven't encountered it at this side of the pond. But it started off with the American Wolves versus the Dark City Fight Club. They were the winners there. In my opinion, two great tag teams. They looked the part. The American Wolves looked like the Motor City Machine Guns times 10. Way better, way more legit. And essentially a great team. The Dark City Fight Club, I have to say the same. Very impressed by both those tag teams in Ring of Honor this week. And then we moved on to a very interesting promo with Skull Crusher Rashi. This is a guy I'd never heard of before.
Yeah, one thing I like about this guy, if he was it kind of reminded me, and I even made note of this, I think I went a little bit more push, but not to completely steal the gimmick. But the first thing that came into my head when I saw that promo brought me right back to the No Holds Barred days and Zeus, right?
Zeus, yes.
Yeah, the evil monster heel. Yeah, I think a character like that, a gimmick like that's definitely missing, because he was maybe it was because we were so young at the time and whatever, and you really looked at him and went, holy, he's a crazy looking dude. But
he's the modern day monster heel that maybe even at our age we can sort of buy.
Yeah, I think maybe take away the Rashi Brown part of the name. Skull Crusher would do just nicely, because he's an intense guy and definitely capable of crushing some skulls without a doubt.
He cut a fantastic promo, and later on in the program he defeated The Set. And these guys, well, they got that hip-hop gimmick, but I really can barely even remember what they looked like. I know one guy was quite thin, the other guy was more of a heavy-set guy, but they didn't leave me any impression really to speak either way about, but there you go. Skull Crusher Rashi Brown defeating The Set, more of a 1-on-2 squash match, or 2-on-1. Following that, we had Bobby Dempsey. God loves a trier, eh?
Bobby Dempsey, what a gimmick. Fans were hot for Bobby Dempsey without a doubt, but I don't know about this look he's got going, but maybe that's his gimmick. Maybe he can sell tickets. God knows, Bobby Dempsey, as you said, God loves a try,
Bobby Dempsey, and maybe he could be a young Vader. Perhaps that's putting him over just ever so slightly too much. He was defeated by the veteran Steve Corino, and there's another reason for you if you've never watched ROH, or if you haven't bothered. Maybe you're an old school wrestling fan who recognizes the name Steve Corino. Well, he's on there, and I think going ahead into the future, you're going to see a lot more of those veterans coming back and at least giving ROH a try now that TNA has been ruled under the iron fist of Bischoff and Hogan.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of... we saw Lynn come back too and even take a title last year at one point.